views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Wow, everybody, welcome. Whoa, I'm so excited about today's show. I'm actually excited. I get excited about my life sometimes. I just gotta pinch myself to make sure that, wait a minute, I'm not living in some fantasy land and dreaming stuff up. But I will say this to you. I feel completely blessed. I don't even understand how a girl that grew up climbing up the monkey bars in the Bronx actually gets to talk to someone like Anne Deidre joining me here today. I mean, how does that even happen? Let alone have, just a really cool sidekick like Mr. Benny and then Mr. Brian over there and Chris and the team in WBLQ. Not to mention all of you. You are truly my inspiration for doing what I do. And I so love and appreciate all of you. Whether you send me an email, text it, now somehow my cell phone, you guys got my cell phone. That's kind of fun. And it doesn't matter. We do our best to try to get back to you because you are the reason that I show up every day and do this. Today's show is super important. It's just super important for a lot of reasons. If you're somebody like me, you did not grow up thinking that you had any kind of beauty, let alone spiritual beauty. You didn't even understand that you can have intuition come to the forefront and have it guide your life. And as a matter of fact, thank goodness for me, because I was a little bit on the outside anyway. I grew up really loving shows like Outer Limit and Twilight Zone and, watching all of the movies that are all about things we cannot see and believe, and yet believe. And so today we're going to have a conversation with Anne, this international celebrity expert on intuition. This is such a great show. And beyond all that, beyond intuition, if there is a beyond intuition, what does the rest of your life look like? Well, if you're a best-selling author, if you're a publisher, if you're a professional artist, if you're a speaker, a coach, if you've been on all of the ABCs, all the C networks, if you've been, published in, magazines and you write articles, and what is it that calls you to the forefront? Whether you are speaking on radio or on television or you're writing, what is it that shows up in the world for you? How do you lead? And that's what I'm talking with Anne about today. In the world we live in today, there are a gazillion bits and bytes that are part of our daily lives every day. And if any of us thinks that we're going to take the cognitive psychology method in making decisions for the greatest dream and vision for our lives, boy, I'll tell you, it is going to be a rough road because I've tried it. But what happens when spirit shows up? What happens when we have this amazing beauty? For those of you out there, I'm just going to tell you now, I've already talked to Anne, and we are opening up the phone lines so that you can get a sense of how to bring intuition to the forefront. And welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pat. What a thrill and honor and wonderful introduction. I appreciate it. And I'm so blessed and honored to be here with you and your listeners.
Well, you and I were kind of joking a little bit before, the show, where I was just saying to you that, there are folks, right, in the world that don't remember a time when cell phones didn't exist, or if they did, they didn't exist the way that they are now. They weren't smart. They were simply a portable device that we can carry around. Now we are connected everywhere. Energy hitting us left and right. And today's show is to get some clearing about that, some activation live on the show, and much more. But from your point of view, has the world we lived in today helped you magnify your gifts, or does it become more challenging?
I feel it definitely has helped me magnify my gifts to be able to speak nationally and globally with this message that I discovered through some extreme difficulty in my life 10 years ago. I'm very appreciative of the technology that we have, and at the same time, it can be an energetic drain, so I've had to work with my own energy to be able to work with as many people as I do and stay as joyful and happy as I do.
Well, and in the world, you got to chuckle a little bit, right? Because I was saying to you, there was a time, not too long ago, really. People think, oh, man, it's like the Stone Age. No, but there was a time when, here we are, and we literally couldn't text our friend and say, oh, by the way, I'm in the airplane. Please get ready to come get me in 15 minutes. And we didn't need to because, people were already at the airlines. What would you say today is our greatest opportunity to demonstrate or hone in on skills of intuition?
Yes. We are in a global world. We can go to Walmart. We can connect with people in so many capacities. And what my work has really been about is working with my own energy so that I can work with as many people as I can and really work with vibration and frequency so that, you can help people manifest their dreams and really work with technology and not go crazy with it.
Yeah. In the world that you live in today, did you ever think when you were a kid, right, when you were young, did you ever think, wow, I'm going to be this person that gets to talk with people all over the world about how to bring forth spiritual beauty and activate their intuition?
No, that would have made life so much easier if I had known that for all the decades. And I know connecting with so many people, we've had a lot of dense time, through the decades leading up now and into this golden age that I feel that we're really encountering. So I love being able to share the message that if you've had some difficulty, it hasn't been for naught. It's been something that we could learn through our experiences and then teach other people. That's what the great gift of the global connection that we have, through Facebook and wonderful shows such as yourself, the ones that you have here, Dr. Pat, just an ability to connect on so many levels and really be powerful together. And that connection with our spirit is really what translates into outer beauty, I feel.
Wow. It's really fun times, don't you think? I mean, there are some days where I think we wake up and we think, oh, no, wow, I've got 500 emails and that's just like from yesterday. But then again, something happens as we step forward. And there's a level of amazement we have in the world. And, it's interesting when we're talking about this, and this idea of spiritual beauty. I'd love for you to talk with us a little bit, not only about what that is, but why it is so relevant in the world today.
Yes, well, I do know from making over my own life with my intuition that spiritual beauty came about because I also became a medical intuitive, so I've begun to recognize the correlation between emotions and physical health and how, something as simple as frown lines, which on the outer appearance, so many people want to do something about that perhaps in some way, but really it's about working with our own emotional states, mental realms, emotional realms, physical realms, so that you can be in the world but necessarily not of the world. Many of us have heard that. Right. And so the beauty of connecting to your own spirit and managing your own energy and being guided by your own intuition really allows you to be a really powerful force in the world. And you can actually connect with people on a much deeper level because you're not necessarily dependent upon their opinions in a way that can be destructive, really. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's hard for a lot of us I work with so many people that are sensitive, empathic, and you pick up other people's moods and you suddenly feel terrible. So it's important to really work with your own energy and know what that is. And so joy is a really big topic right now.
It is
from my guidance that's been sharing, you know, to be in joy is really that, you know, when you see somebody smiling down the street, you can feel that energy.
Well, you know what I love about this is that, you know, there is something that happens to us immediately when we smile, right? There's something that happens to us immediately. But, you know, many of us have come through some really rough patches in our lives. What would you say for you are some of the greatest challenges you've had to overcome to bring you to this very moment?
Well, I had debilitating depression and anxiety so crippling that I couldn't function for close to 10 months. I was going through a divorce, and my children were small, and I was unable to keep a job at any length, which now I realize were cosmic boots, spirit guiding me and encouraging me to do what I'm doing now. And I was very resistant because I didn't have a name or a title, and I just, you know, didn't feel as good as the jobs that I was working on. But, you know, I feel like learning to tap into our intuition was something that came to me through a meditation that I found, which was really life or death at that point. I feel like I had just about a near-death experience going through the real midst of it, and my soul went into this place in space. And I remember seeing Star Trek as a kid. You're talking about different things, and I never really paid attention when my brother was watching it, but suddenly I was in space. I could see stars around. It felt like me. I could hear my own voice say, oh, my gosh, I'm in space. And then I saw a white light vortex, and it started to spiral, and I could hear the sound of creation, and it came through me. So this was after I'd been reading and practicing the Kriya Yoga meditation technique that Avatar Saint Yogananda had brought to us at the Self-Realization Sanctuary. So this did happen to me February 3rd, 2005, and what I realize now is it opened up my chakras and energy and the Kundalini and brought back my intuitive gifts back online to be able to use.
Wow. I love this. Well, we're going to take a short break, everybody. When we come back, we're going to talk with Anne about what is this journey like to go through spiritual beauty, get to spiritual beauty from the inside out. And, you know, why is it that each and every one of us get to look at ourselves and then get some help? Today's show is all about that. Whether you're calling in to work with Anne directly live on the show, get some energy activation or clearing, emotional, mental, or physical bodies going on, or how would you like to dissolve some blocks and false beliefs today? 1-800-930-2819. We're opening up the phone lines early. When we come back, you know, we're going to talk about what does a master energy reader know that maybe some of us may not quite have learned yet. But stay tuned. We'll come back.
People living their lives for you on TV. They say they're better than you, and you agree. He says, hold my calls from behind.
Tune in to the Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Would you like to be a question with anything that comes up in your body or mind? Would you like to become totally aware and begin to function as the conscious being you truly are? Join Access Certified Facilitator Glenna Rice every month for a live teleclass where you can ask all of your questions and learn to create change in any aspect of your life. Visit GlennaRice.com today to learn more and don't miss the next call. Join the questionable conversation today at GlennaRice.com. A morning filled with dynamic, inspirational music, spirituality, and uplifting messages by TJ Woodward. Come and connect with community conversations and awaken your senses. Awakened Living Sundays with TJ Woodward. Join TJ every Sunday in the San Francisco Bay Area Chapel at Fort Mason and live streaming online 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time. To learn more and access the live stream, visit www.awakeneдлiving.sf.org.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you're ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com, or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-MIND.
The Doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. This inspiring show will help you never feel helpless in life or love ever again. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific Time right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Doctor's bill, a lawyer's bill, another cute cheap thrill. You know you love him if you put him in your will, but who will say?
Oh my gosh, that is Jewel. We actually had Jewel's dad on the show, Benny, remember?
Yeah, Otts Kilcher, I believe.
Yeah, and remember he actually wrote a song.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote a song. I cried for the entire hour. He wrote a song about me, and that was really fascinating for me. I just thought, oh my gosh, what a world we live in today. And, you know, you never know what you know what I love about this, Anne, and Anne is joining me, Anne Deidre is joining me here today. And before we jump ahead, before I kind of go crazy on, having you on the show, I'm so excited. Hey, let folks know the best way they can find out more about you, where you're going to be, how to get copies of your books, all of the above.
Oh, thank you. The best way is through my website, AnneDeidre.com, and I'll spell that. It's ANNEDEIDRE. And I have a wonderful gift bundle for anybody that likes to join my community for awakening your divine intuitive power. It's a workbook and an audio for chakra clearing to help clear and activate your energy centers. And next week I have 3 television appearances in Florida, so I'll be down there in West Palm, Jacksonville, and Orlando, meeting Bob Guinea with The Bachelor for his Success TV show. And then I'll be back first week of September, and I'm going to be launching my Inner Circle Chronicles Book 5 as a spiritual book publisher. I found it difficult to be published early on with my message, and so now I love being a publisher and helping men and women who are healers and intuitives or have a feeling that they're called to be that, even if they don't quite know that yet, and publish them in my book series. So I'll be launching that in Book 5. And it's a coaching program that I do working with men and women to help develop their intuitive gifts and then publish their stories.
Yeah. And, this is so important because you're right. I mean, let's talk about this for a minute because it really does open the door for the conversation about spiritual beauty. I don't know that we have been at a place in time in our history, where there are so many people on the planet reaching for a higher level of vibration, spirituality, and connection. And yet at the same time, that presents its own issues, if I could say, Anne, as well. And I want to talk about that because when I hear the term spiritual beauty, I mean, I just light up. And then I think, wait a minute, how do I get some of that? Can I go down to the QFC and buy a quart of that or what? And that's really what I want to talk with you about is what does the journey look like to that place of spiritual beauty?
So interesting, because I was an intuitive artist for now 22 years. I did not know that back in 1992 when I had my first real heartbreak and loss of jobs and you name it. It was just going through just about everything at that point. And so because teachers in high school had not encouraged me artistically, I wasn't even thinking about that I could be a painter because I was really actually discouraged from it from one teacher. So I went to college and got a BA in art history, but I really, thought I wanted to paint, but I didn't think I could. But then at 28 years old, when all this stuff was hitting the fan, I got paints and I blasted my music and I painted this, what a painting called Wounded Lioness, which was looking back at me like it was I actually painted something that you could recognize, and I just started painting, week after week, day after day, and really healed myself through that process. So I had what we call dense emotions, difficult situations, grief, and I painted that energy and transmuted it. I didn't know that back then. I just felt better after I painted. So then the writing came. I started writing. So all of this creativity, I feel, is really cathartic to help process. We all go through the world and experience difficult things. And so the beauty part really is to feel that sense of joy inside. Even after going through some incredibly difficult things, those difficult things I found have really helped to make our intuition even stronger. Trauma and tragedy can make us highly gifted in intuition, I found out through my medical intuition training. So that feeling that, bubbles up inside, that we just feel this joy, translates into a beauty and a confidence that I've discovered now going into my 50s that I didn't have at 20 and 30, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, let's talk about this for a minute, because we're talking about spiritual beauty at any age. And this is really kind of an interesting paradox, isn't it? Especially with the word beauty for so many people in our pop culture. The idea of stepping forth in a more intuitive way, in a way that makes, absolutely no sense sometimes to our friends and our family, is really something that millions and millions of people are reaching out for right now. How would you describe what you do? How would you describe this idea? And I mentioned some of it today for people listening to the show, if you'd like to call in. When we talk about energy clearing, a lot of folks have a sense of it. But can you please take us on a journey of why that's so important in the day and age we live in? And what is the end game for us with that?
Okay. Yeah, so when I was painting and then writing and not really realizing I was clearing my energy field for a long time, I became a certified angel reader. So then I realized and developed a psychic ability. And I began to do half-hour and one-hour readings. And I noticed once people started coaching with me because they wanted to work with me longer, they started feeling better when they worked with me. Again, I wasn't thinking too much about it energetically, but began these coaching programs that would go on for years and years, and I was guided by spirit to start to clear and activate the chakras. I just started working with people from root to crown, and I began to sense and feel blocks and issues, and someone's fifth grade teacher, something they said to them, and I found myself removing these blocks, dissolving them, channeling, and freeing them from these difficult emotions. So I was doing emotional clearing. I've been doing that 7 years now. And so working energetically as an intuitive healer, you Google that, 10 years ago, but now there's those of us that are, and I work with many. That's what I love. I feel like this whole world can shift and change into a higher calibration by working with our own energy field. So that's really what I've been doing day in and day out for the most part for the last 7 years with all of the wonderful people that I've been blessed to work with.
Someone said to me, we've heard you, Pat, mention the fact that, Dr. Oz made an announcement a few years ago that energy medicine was the next frontier, if not the final frontier. And someone said to me, why do you keep mentioning Dr. Oz? I mean, Dr. Oz is not that special. And, my answer was, no, it isn't really about Dr. Oz. What it was about for me was the fact that here you have a very popular mainstream icon, pretty much, in the world. And he's talking about energy medicine. Now, that is a breakthrough. because 1 minute he's talking about your gallbladder being contaminated, and then the next minute he's talking about energy medicine. I don't know that I thought I would see that in my lifetime.
I'm jumping for joy. Right. I know. When I saw he had a picture of the chakras on a few years ago, I was literally beside myself. Yeah. It was. Right.
And someone said to me, well, wait a minute, are we giving these folks too much power? I mean, I would love for you to talk about this, because there's a collective consciousness. And what I'm jumping to joy about is that I think people like, he and Oprah and others are showing up in the world as part of a collective and bringing forth a group conscience that needs to be brought to the forefront and talked about. And yet at the same time, folks are having so many options in the world. Can you talk for a minute about what you've seen in the work you've done with energy medicine, and being a medical intuitive?
I know that it's a bridge. I feel that I'm walking to bridge together, this massive collective consciousness and creating the openings. I feel like there's been misperceptions. I know personally when I started this work what potentially family and friends thought about it, not quite understanding what is it that you're doing, and having trouble myself articulating it. So there has not been words even to describe sometimes when I'm working with clients. I don't even know what you want to call it, but I call it chakra clearing because people seem to understand that. But I love this conversation. It just means everything to me to be able to have this conversation with you, Dr. Pat, because, whether anybody recognizes it or not in the world, I feel like they will, and those of us pioneering it are making those strides.
Well, let's talk about it in terms of, what shows up in life. Well, for me, for example, I happen to be very fortunate when I got sick in 2004. And that was and when I say I got sick, it's a term that I use that, everybody on the planet understands. When you get sick, they get it. It was a spiritual awakening for me, and in many, many ways. And, it was something that I went and got help on all fronts. But what happened for me, and this is what I'd love for you to talk about when we come back, is what happened for me, I bumped into the world of natural medicine and integrative medicine. And I got to experience working with someone locally here that not only understood what energy was about, but can pinpoint such precision that the only reason we run blood work and other things is a validation point. Now, a girl growing up on the East Coast from the Bronx, that was about as foreign to me as saying, Scotty, beam me up. And yet, why in my lifetime was this being shown to me? When we come back, I'm going to ask Anne to answer the why question. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the show. We're going to give you lots more information. And as I've said, if you are interested in working with Anne live on air with us today, 1-800-930-2819. If you got something that you think you're being blocked with or blocked from, just look in your bank account. How's that working for you? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to start winning at the game of life? Lynn Brown, host of Get Into It, Winning at the Game of Life, is here to help you reach places and goals that you never thought possible. Lynn is an intuitive healer with a specialized background in financial healing. She combines her intuitive nature and her wholesome approach to financial planning. To learn more about her financial planning services, contact her personally at intuit.com.
Doctor loves quickies.
Mary's about ready to give love the shove, 'cause no matter what she tries, guys don't know that she's alive. To turn guys on, she needs to turn on those green lights, nonverbal cues that say, over here. Most guys won't approach unless they're cleared for landing. So ladies, to kickstart your love life, turn on those green lights and flash your pearly whites. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf of AskDrLove.com.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Have you been seeing numbers like 111 and 222 everywhere you go? Do you feel that the universe may be trying to get your attention, perhaps offering a message of some sort? As it turns out, numerical patterns and certain types of geometry form the very fabric of our reality, from cells under a microscope to the astronomy of our night sky. At Stellar Reflections, we offer special sessions which tap into these patterns, designed specifically to support you on your journey. The 111 and 222 activations are sessions activating new patterns in your energy field, which in turn can help you create new patterns in your life. After just one session with a practitioner, either in person or via distance, clients report gaining greater clarity, becoming more intuitive, and honoring their inner truth as they move forward in their lives. Curious about what these transformational sessions might do for you? Call 425-999-9836 or visit stellarreflections.com. That's stellarreflections.com.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Hey everyone, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tuning us in, turning us on. Yeah, and I know a couple of you have tried to call into the show. Please go ahead and try again, 1-800-930-2819. Sometimes what happens with these phones, when everybody tries to call in at once, the phones don't know what to do with all that activity. That's my sense of it. And why is that? It's because Anne is joining us here today. Anne, one more time, if you don't mind, website, let's do the website. And then you also have a free gift offer. Please let folks know how to get to the website, how they can find out more about you.
AnneDeidre.com, ANNEDEIDRE. And there you'll receive a free Awaken Your Divine Power gift set, which has a chakra clearing audio and workbook. So you can help to excavate your true bliss inside for spiritual beauty.
Yeah, you got to do it. Got to do it. Because you know what, Aunt, right? We're like sitting here today because here's what the deal is. People have dreams and they have visions. And I said we were going to talk about the why. This is a question that I learned early on in doing the show to let go of and perhaps not use again unless I'm Stephen Hawking, right? Because I don't know that I've ever really got much satisfaction from the word. But it is a very important word. People go on a journey to find out the whys in life. I would like to go to look at the what in life with you. And you know what I mean by that is we are in search of the why. And yet it's the what and the how isn't it, that will get us to take the direction and the action that we need. What have you experienced? What have you seen in working with others?
Yeah, well, through the chakras from root to crown, at the crown, if you have something that you feel bored or stuck or a life-threatening illness, it's actually, like you said, a spiritual awakening. I had one, you had one, and so I love being able to be there for people in those moments because that is potentially the greatest gateway of their lives, discover what is your true purpose. And for many of us that have been on this earth for some time, it's not what we thought necessarily, but it's also an integration of everything that we've done. So we haven't wasted any time. We didn't miss any boat, so to speak, but everything in your life has value, but there's never been a better time in the history of this planet to know what your purpose is and what your message is and how to uplift all of humanity, I feel.
And, and let's talk about the blueprint. And what do I mean by the blueprint? Let's talk about the blueprint that could be available to us to help us know which dot to connect next. Because this is really the kind of paradox in the conversation today. It's this idea that we are eager and we want to know, and yet what happens is the information is not hidden from us. We just do not know how to access it.
That's right, because we have that wonderful right brain and left brain. The right brain is intuitive, creative. The left brain, it's the temporal lobe. The frontal lobe is rational and logical, and perhaps remembers what a message we may have gotten from our well-meaning parents or friends or teachers that can attempts to override those intuitive insights that we all have. And so we have a lot of different energy we're working with in any given moment. So our purpose is often difficult to excavate because we have so many mixed messages. So as really a psychic detective, when I work with people, I can hear what their higher self is saying, and with my team of angels and guides that I work with, and I can access my clients' team, and I can give them clear information and guidance that they've had difficulty hearing. And I know that my life was like that for many decades, so I was able to clear out my own energy to be able to hear this guidance for myself and continue to use it on a daily basis, and will for the rest of my life, to know I don't know necessarily what I'm doing 6 months from now, but I know I will be guided. So I understand that people have difficulty hearing and accessing this information, this blueprint, because there's been a lot of other energetic disturbances.
Yeah. And you said something to me interesting. We're going to hop over to the phone in a minute. You said something to me interesting while when we went to the first break. And you said, I don't know if you know, but I'm channeling. And because I had a sense of that, there is something to talk about here, because when you experience that, there's a message that's trying to come through. Is that correct, Anne?
Yes. I am someone for the past 10 years since I had my initiation of the Christ consciousness in space. I get out of the way, the false self, the personality, the ego, and we all have that. I let it get out of the way. I actually say a prayer before I came on the air here, just to be able to navigate this voice and insight. I know what it feels like. I know what it sounds like. It has unconditional love, divinity, wisdom, and I'm used to working with it. So I'm really good with allowing that to come through.
Well, we're going to allow it to come through right now because Benny has been busy picking up the phones. Mr. Benny, who do we have?
Sure, we'll start things off. We've got Stacy calling in from Edmonds. Stacy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Stacy.
Hey, Dr. Pat. How are you ladies doing today?
Awesome. How the heck can we help you, gal?
Oh, well, I have a question. I'm getting really close to when I make decisions, feeling really happy, confident, comfortable after I've made a decision. And with that said, I'm finding it a little bit tricky because I regret some of my decisions. And I think, what am I doing? I had all the information. I should have gone this one direction, and I took a right turn. And I get intuitive feedback and know I should have gone that other way, and it's that little piece that I'm like,
Good question.
Good question, Stacy. Thank you. I actually work with my artwork, too, as oracle cards. I have artwork and channelings. I pulled the card, Great Love Involves Great Risk for You. But some information I'm getting for you, Stacy, as you're describing this scenario, is that sometimes you may not, I'm hearing, go far enough. Okay, so if you have an attachment to an outcome for what you expect to occur, that may not be the whole divine picture. You following me? So if you decide to take this job because you think, X, Y, Z, the bigger picture may have a different reason for you there. So, so for you, I feel like continuing to follow your intuitive insight and navigate it more on a daily basis. I tell people, when you hit a wall, turn a corner. Okay, so if you're feeling like you've made a choice that it doesn't serve you, there's some reason why you made it. You find the gold and the nugget and why you did that, and it's going to unlock continuous guidance for you intuitively to move through and navigate into the place where you feel like you want to be.
Okay.
Does that, how does that feel?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Excuse me. That resonates. Absolutely. And it's
Great.
that thing of, it's kind of big stuff. It involves family and, pardon me, that's where it's a little bit tricky for me. It doesn't just affect myself.
Yeah.
These decisions. So that's where it feels a little tricky. I always want to make the right decisions with my kids, for example. And if I miss it by, 5 days, I'm just thinking, So
I would work with your third chakra. That's responsibility, family, work, decision-making in your third chakra. If you particularly work, again, I have a wonderful audio, but working with your third chakra will help you with that. What's your responsibility? What's others? And yes, children, you are responsible for children, but especially as nurturing and caregivers the way we are, it can get really messy in our third chakra. That's your decision. That's where I'm feeling the confusion. So working with that third energy center is going to be helpful for you. I can do a little clearing, if that's okay. I can do a little activation for you.
Can we do that right now?
I absolutely welcome that.
Let's go for it. Okay. Thank you, God, in all time, space, and dimension. Stacey, you may now be free from any false belief about any inability to connect truly with your divine power, any lack of confidence in others to connect with their divine power, any discordant energy in your third emotional energy center up into the central sun, and transmute it so you're instantly connected to the true, powerful, infinite source that you have. Continually guide and navigate your life as the lives of others are working with divine energy as well. Thank you, God, and so it is.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. That just feels so wonderful.
Great.
I just appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you so much. Mr. Benny, who do we have next?
All right, let's jump down to Seattle, and Raul is joining us. Raul, welcome to the show.
Hey, Raul. How can we help you today?
Hey, hello, Dr. Fat. Hi, Anne.
Hi, Raul.
Hi. I have a very specific question. I've had this, it's a medical intuition question. I've had this skin eczema going on in my hands, and also I've had some lower chakra issues like prostate and things like that. And so I'm wondering if you can help me with that.
Yes, those are centers 1 and 2. You are correct and accurate. Yes, the skin is root chakra, first center, has to do with families, organizations, safety, security, sense of belonging. Okay, and then the other issue that you mentioned, that's second chakra. That's money and relationships. So for you, I'm feeling that you, again, it could be past life, it could be subconscious, it could be something that you can relate to now, but something, or potentially in your childhood, but I'm getting a sense of some energy that doesn't really belong to you around money, relationships, and security. I feel like you are a trailblazer, you have more of a independent entrepreneurial spirit, and I feel like maybe going outside of that, outside of the so-called norm, may have caused you discomfort or could be uncomfortable for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Okay. So because your skin acting up like in rashes and whatnot, it feels like that root chakra is very primal. It's like we have to belong to our family and a community, and we can't go too far outside of that if we want to feel safe. That's the belief system that can, again, it's never, I don't do diagnosis, but it's kind of a medical educational. That's what this skin eruptions could be tied into. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. As I'm talking, I'm feeling a sense of whenever I'm talking or working with someone, the clearing, the spiritual energy that I'm able to catalyze will start to dissolve that belief system, whether you're consciously fully aware of it or not.
Right. Right. Because, Raul, again, this is a question that I have for both of you. Sometimes what shows up in our questions is only the things that we can see. And, a lot of times, like I had a meltdown this weekend at Costco in the middle of the cheese aisle because I looked at the price of goat cheese and I didn't remember it being that high, right? That was now clearly, I'm not a meltdown about goat cheese kind of person. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes we express something, right, Anne, that are really related, but literally just the tip of it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yes.
It's something that's triggered from something that's stuffed in our subconscious, and we've buried it for a reason. It's not very comfortable to think about.
Right. Would that be the case in that with Raul? Because, it's interesting. The skin is a great messenger so many times, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's erupting, and if you suppress anger, and we have 5 primary emotions: fear, anger, sadness, joy, and love. So that eruption is telling you about some buried anger, sadness, and so, again, the chakra clearing, or sitting with the emotions and the feelings and allowing them to surface up and out. We have feelings, and many of us have not been taught to feel them or express them, so we stuff them back in our bodies, and that's what that create the physical symptoms.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to feel things that are happening with your right brain. You want to articulate it with your left brain. Like, turn it over. You feel something. I'm feeling sad. You want to turn it over to your left brain and name it and claim it. And like in the witness, say, I'm feeling sad. Very unconditionally loving with yourself and kind, and notice your emotions coming to the surface. So go, oh, no, I'm going to eat ice cream because I don't like that feeling. Okay, don't do that. Go, oh, I'm feeling sad. Feel it. Be creative. Write, journal, paint, cook something, redecorate. This, something where you're processing, acknowledging it, left brain, and then release it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right? Also, I feel like this is something that you've buried because it was more comfortable to do so. That's what many of us were taught to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feels really old. And also, I put my heart and soul into healing myself. I can't eat any better. I can't drink better water. And I was wondering, okay, what is it? Heavy metal? What else will we find? But
emotions.
Emotions.
Buried
Raul,
emotions.
I am so glad you called into this show, because this is it. We are looking for something, and this is the work you do with people.
Mm-hmm.
You heard me talk about Dr. Oz and energy, right? Being the final frontier for medicine, but part of that is the emotional body and the emotional energy, right, Anne?
Right.
We don't even have a clue. I have to tell you, Al, I can't figure this out myself. I got to work with my coaches on this, because it's just not something we know, Anne, is it?
No, it's not. We weren't supported. It was a whole lot of years of, just deal with it, or, I don't want to hear that, and we just carry on, and it doesn't work that way. It gets stuffed in our bodies and creates havoc in one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
it's
you can be doing all the right things,
yeah.
Raul. You can be doing, all the right things that you think you're doing, just like I was, until I realized, nope, I've gotten rid of all the physical things going on, but why the heck am I not living the life I want, right? And once I discovered that by working with someone like Anne, forget it. You just now got to fasten your seatbelt, right, Anne?
Right. Those emotions are going to come up and out. So that's the good news. You progressively feel better, and then as you feel better and lighter, you attract and magnetize more things that are like your energy, and it really does get easier. It seems hard and difficult and emotional at first, but then you realize you're feeling this. Your body is a great messenger to you. I will say thank you, skin, for showing me this. I appreciate that message, and that in and of itself can help alleviate this. So become your own best friend. Really, it's your body is has a consciousness, and it's designed to facilitate your greatest good.
Yeah,
you're not doing anything wrong. This is the time for to clear. We're all clearing.
No.
Yeah, I do it maintenance.
Do you have a little clearing for Raul?
We get upset.
We can do,
know. What's
can
that?
we do a little clearing for Raul right now?
Yes. Okay. So thank you, God, in all time, space, and dimension. May now be free from any false belief around any kind of stuck energy in the emotional body, any kind of discordant energy in the first and second chakra, anything to do with family, organizations, love, money, wealth, health, any false belief about power around your own physicality, mind, body, spirit connection up into the central sun and transmute it so you're infinitely connected to the fully divine, sovereign authority of your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual realms, etheric realms moving forward. Thank you, God, and so it is.
All right. Oh, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Pat. Thank you, Anne, very much. Appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thank you for calling in.
And I want to talk for a minute, because I know that this time goes so quickly. I made a statement. I'd love for you to talk to it a little bit. For most of my life, I grew up as a kid that was pretty much, my mother died when I was 6, and I pretty much ended up homeless at 17. And, for me, I've been one of these kids that learned how to take care of oneself. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, work 3 jobs if you need it. But later on in life, I learned that the dreams I had as a kid could actually come true. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about, or a lot, about the work you do and how you help people clear the pathway so that they can live the lives they want. Someone said to me not too long ago, there's no such thing as a dream that has died. There's only a dream that has become dormant. Mm-hmm. And I thought that my brain's going to explode from that statement. And so I would love for you to talk a little bit about how important this energy clearing work is and how you work with people.
Yes, I am able to tune into each of the emotional centers that have to do with the day in and day out for people, as well as excavating their dreams. So in the root chakra, you've got your sense of security. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
We've got to start at the beginning, where the very basic needs that we have, roof over our head, food on the table, any kind of, we've gone through the Depression and the 30s, or our parents may have, whatever the case is, we absorb like sponges, many of us, this energy of false belief systems, like I've got to do this in order to. It's not actually your idea, it's somebody else's. So working energetically with each person individually and uniquely, I can access the belief systems that they've been carrying in every energy center that they have. So beliefs about purpose, beliefs about money, beliefs about love, beliefs about being empowered, beliefs about speaking up, beliefs about having spiritual and psychic abilities, intuitive abilities, and beliefs about their connection to all that is. So I used to do a whole chakra clearing in an hour years ago, and then Spirit was guiding me to spend hours potentially in each center. And so it's like an onion that we can unravel layers and layers and layers. You've gone through some sadness, Dr. Pat, so your heart, even though you carried forth,
mm-hmm.
The grief is a process to acknowledge, and through your beautiful work, I'm sure you have transcended a lot of your challenges.
Yeah.
But that's
no
what
doubt.
We're here to do, not be defined by them, but to transcend them and ultimately serve other people in what I call divine service and mission-based work. That's many of the people I connect to. And, I've been blessed to be so busy with people that really understand what this is.
And, this is what I love about this, because it is really, we're at a point in time in our lives where we have options that can change the path, the direction, and the joy we feel in life. And thank you for a great show. I've got one more question for you, and if you would, please let folks have your website again. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
I feel guided to choose a card. Oh, my goodness. I chose Clear and Activate Your Chakras, which is one of my oracle cards. And the name of the painting is Timeless Love. So no matter what you've gone through, no matter what you've experienced, now is a potent present moment. The reason you came to this earth is still very much within you, and it is timeless. And there is no too late, no too early. The time is now. So I would say be comfortable in your own skin, love yourself, and realize that you are here for a great reason and purpose. And thank you so much, Dr. Pat, and everybody listening and calling in today.
Thank you. Please give out your website one more time, and thank you so much for all you do, Anne.
You're very welcome. Thank you. It's AnneDeidre.com, ANNEDEIDRE.
All right, everybody. What a great show. We've got more coming up here on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.